I always make sure I'm holding something when I go out. I bite the skin off my fingers. I clench my jaw. I grind my teeth. I have tightness in my chest that lasts for days. I don't leave my room for hours. I don't leave the house for days. I avoid people. I find it difficult to make genuine connections. I obsess over control, so I weigh everything I eat. I obsess over work as I get anxious if it isn't done. And lastly, I dissociate. This is anxiety, something we all experience in some form or another. Well, unfortunately for me and many others alike, normal life at its most mundane can be utterly unbearable. What I find most difficult is relaying the true extent of how it dominates my life to others, as it's not visible. So if I wasn't to mention it, people probably wouldn't be aware of my struggle. So because of this, I've decided to devise a plan. I'm going to do some things that I'm quite scared of. Part of having anxiety is being cripplingly aware of what you have to do to make yourself better, but just feeling powerless to do so. So because of this, I'm going to examine the things that I am most afraid of, and then I'm going to tackle them head on. Fear 1, the outside. For someone who loves the idea of the outside, I find it very difficult. The way I walk or how I look in general are all aspects that I lose control over once I'm outside. As a result, I don't really go out other than to buy food or to attend instances that involve alcohol. Because of this fear, I'm going to go for a walk every day for at least a month. It does feel liberating to be out here. Honestly, I haven't really been outside that much. And there's been so many days where it's been so nice and sunny, and I've said, you're going out today, and then I just haven't. On account of the fact that I just overthink every single thing that could possibly happen. I'm just tired of it, to be honest with you. Like, it's a hindrance to so much of my life. I don't meet as many people as I should, I don't do things, I don't put myself out there, I just don't. And I get so pissed off with myself. This brings us to the second fear, people. When it comes to putting myself out there, in short, I don't. A great example of this fear would be my complete and utter reluctance to getting a job. I've never had one. When I relay this to people, I'm often laughed at, and I often laugh with them because, well, I'm so lazy, right? Rather, the thought of having to interact with new people every day is stressful. As challenges go, I am somewhat limited in this respect due to COVID, but I hope that being surrounded by people every day on my walks will suffice. Fear 3, lack of control. I have a perpetual fear of losing control. It appears to be the overarching reason behind all my fears, of which there are many, but we would be here for hours if I attempted to reel them off one by one. So because of this, I thought of several other things that make me uncomfortable, and I've also decided to face them. I'm not going to weigh my food for a week. This is quite hard because there's only so much I can control because it's locked down. So having this taken away from me will be quite difficult. So I do have an update on this front. I haven't weighed anything I've eaten in, I think it's been almost 2 weeks. I do still feel a bit stressed about the lack of control, but I think that's just something I have to work on. I just have to get used to. It does give me confidence knowing that I've managed to do this, especially when I've tried it a number of times beforehand and I've failed. So yeah, I am pretty proud of myself. I'm gonna get help. For some reason I feel really awkward saying that. I think it's because it's something I'm quite uncomfortable with, which kind of tells me that that's why I need to do it. I know how difficult it can be to get help, or to even acknowledge that you need it, hence why I've put it off for years. That idea was unfathomable, and on some low days it still is. But honestly, less than a year ago, the thought of my face being in a video, let alone a video about me entirely, was unthinkable. So if you think you may be struggling, maybe take this video as a sign, just to consider for a moment how good your life could be if you just take a tiny little step out of your comfort zone.